are saying we need more.
And the schools.
And the schools are going to need more. And everybody's going to be like a deer in the headlights. It is inexcusable that Kate Sears is not here. There is no rational excuse for that. And when everybody, they had 2 busloads of people go to the ABAG meeting. And they ignored them.
Wasn't the mayor of Puerto Madera one of them?
Yes, good person. Yes, she was there. Many others. So, in conclusion, get the mailing list.
Gentlemen.
Hi, my name is Justin Kai. I'm also from Marinwood, and there's a couple of things that I want to touch on that have been talked throughout the evening tonight. Kind of going chronologically, one of the first things when this woman up here brought up the concern about the ratio of affordable housing, that's not entirely clear if you try to talk to the county. Most people think that 20% affordable to 80% market rate is standard. Speaking with the Planning Commission now, in unincorporated areas, my understanding is that it's a 50-50 mandatory split now. So 80-20 might not even possibly exist anymore for new development. What's happening to us in Marinwood that a lot of you might know in terms of Marinwood Village, Bridge Housing is has an application in to build a primarily affordable housing development. The ratio there is 86% affordable to 14% market rate. The primary concern there is because Bridge is a nonprofit developer, they will pay no basic property tax on the 86% of the affordable housing portion. They're potentially able to bring in 300 to 400 new residents into our community without any taxes to support them. Our infrastructure up there currently does not have any elasticity to absorb that many new people without funds coming in for them. So our schools, our fire, our police, infrastructure, all of it. So all of it will either fall onto the existing, that burden will fall onto either the existing residents, or we will, or our quality of services will rapidly decline. So that I think is very important to understand, because that is what development and nonprofit development are. That's the model they're really trying to go towards, and the county is facilitating this in unbelievable ways. By the end of it, if Bridge is able to build as they're intending to, they will have done so with $7 to $8 million of taxpayer funds. So we've spoken with Susan Adams a number of times. What if we tried to purchase that property? Essentially, we are already purchasing that property. We just can't have any input as to how it's being taken care of. In terms of how we got removed from the priority development area and how Tamamonte got involved with that, there was no traction on any of that until the recall for Susan Adams was in motion. So
and that's how you get the voter list. Cheap. It's like $70.
So really, up until that point, all we were getting was lip service. And what I've seen and what I've heard from residents, and not just tonight, but in reading what Bruce has written and other residents have written, and hearing other very well-spoken residents from Strawberry speak at Planning Commission hearings, Susan Adams' behavior is not alone. It seems like Kate Sears is following the same playbook, following the same tactics. And I will say, if you guys do have a large town hall meeting with her, make sure that she provides 2 microphones. Susan Adams intentionally did not provide, she intentionally provided only 1 microphone to try to control who spoke, how people spoke, and to make the event that much more contentious.
Thank you for coming down here.
Well, we're brothers in arms on this. We're really getting nailed up in Marinwood, but it's coming here too. And the reason why we're targeted is because there's 5 supervisors, and they can. All it takes is 3 of them to vote to change your community, and so we need to put pressure on every single one of the supervisors.
And then also too, the supervisors will operate in a fashion of where they will try to pit communities against each other. I find that very obviously inappropriate. The problems that Strawberry faces, I feel we all face. You know, what they do in one part of Marin, they can do essentially anywhere. So I think it's important for all the communities to really align with each other. So.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I find this all very instructive and interesting, and yet I'd like the meeting to turn pragmatic. I'd like us as a group, that now we've been informed to whatever extent, and I'd like us to begin discussing options and mobilize towards what our options are.
Are people generally in favor of trying to get rid of the
Absolutely.
PDA removed?
Yeah.
You want to take a vote? Yes.
Favor of strawberry being
In.
Who's in favor of strawberry being?
Can I just make one little point? I think it's helpful. We've done this up in Marinwood, but you haven't heard this. We recognize the need for affordable housing. So I think it is appropriate, if you feel that there's a need in the community for affordable housing, think about what you want, what's going to work for the community, and put that on the table right up front. Because otherwise it's like, oh, the NIMBYs are out and you guys don't want anything. And it's really not that. It's about appropriate planning. So
Thank you for your suggestion.
I think one of the questions that was asked, which is the next call to action, and I have to tell you that this is where Stacy and I, who are working moms, we need help. We need people who will sign up. When you go out, there's a yellow pad. If you put your email there, we'll be able to, as we start to coalesce, there are people who have been working on this who are not here. It's summertime. As you all know, people have families and vacations and things that they have to do. There are people who are trying to move. If you are willing and able to motivate on this issue and work towards, please let people know, because no one likes getting emails saying, I don't live in Strawberry and why are you emailing me, or I don't care about this subject.
Or if you'd like to be a leader we could assemble a team of leaders that are doing things, and anybody who'd be willing to come in and help and whatever it is that we're deciding to do, we would love that.
Can we get a formal organization going so that we do have some leadership that speaks for us?
Well, we can use the Strawberry Initiative, the Strawberry Community Initiative. It was a group that was put together very quickly and loosely right before the 4th of July when this came out. But we can use that. That can become the umbrella group, and we can use the website savestrawberry.org and go from there. So absolutely yes. The seminary neighbors retained him, and he's been working with them for years. And then I don't know that there's been a separate agreement or retainer for him for something else.
The question, Riley Hurd, there was an attorney's letter written from Riley Hurd on behalf of the Strawberry Community Initiative Group, I believe, that was very articulate, that went through the history of the PDA with Kate Sears and called point. He is not employed by this group that is meeting here today. He has been employed by the seminary group, and so there's.
I think it hasn't been. He works. I think he's currently retained by the seminary group. He represents them. Yeah. And so you don't. Well, I don't know. I'm not.
So whether researching legal representation and trying to raise funds for things like getting email lists and mailing people and things like that, I think is going to play a part. But again, please volunteer yourself. If you have experience with these types of things, please let us know. Everybody brings their expertise to the table, and all I can say is if you'll get on savestrawberry.org and then email them and you can email Stacy and myself. I'm happy to give out my email.
Yeah, my name is Jim Snyder, and I want to thank Steve for coming down, and Justin too. We talked about this issue before a couple times. How many people went on the Marin IJ website today, front page, where they had a vote on just this subject?
I saw that, yeah.
As I left tonight just to come to this meeting, I noticed that at that point, 83% voted to be removed from the PDA on that website. So a lot of people are actually seeing what's going on. The other thing I wanted to say is that this idea about a strategy for the Board of Supervisors meeting. Who's ever spoken at the Board of Supervisors meeting? Ever gone up to the microphone and actually said something at the Board of Supervisors? Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do when Susan Adams is up there kind of cutting them up. When I was working on this whole pension reform issue in Marin County and being on that committee, when we'd go up there and speak, even when we were not on the agenda. So the idea is, August 19th, who cares whether we're on the agenda? And we may not be on the agenda, but the idea is to get up there, and when all these people are there and someone's going up and saying something for 3 minutes, you can come up with something for 3 minutes. By that time, there ought to be a lot of subjects out here that we ought to be able to talk on.
I think it's the 20th. I think it's the 20th, August 20th, and I think we should send them letters or emails in advance of it to say we want it, we're not going to surprise you, we want to be here, we're going to show up, we want to be on, we want to be voted out.
True. I thought, the only reason I said August 19th is that was the town hall meeting that's not going to be
right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll try to get updates circulated on what happens on the 19th.
They'll cut your minutes back when they know you're coming. They'll take it 3 to 1 minute.
Seriously?
Yeah.
See, and I have heard that
That's
if
what
you're
they
part of the
did in
group,
MTC
though,
did.
only one person from the group can speak. So if everybody is still loosely
We're all separate.
everyone can talk on their own behalf.
That's a violation of the Brown Act. It's a violation of the Brown
To
Act.
only let one person talk.
Yes.
Well, that makes sense.
And you can't be required to identify yourself. That's also a violation of the Brown Act.
Is that agenda already set?
It's not published yet. For the Brown Act, it's supposed to be published on like 10 days before, but they're usually not. They're usually like
They do it the Friday
7
before
days
the meeting on
Yeah,
Wednesday.
but it's pretty close in time to where you'll see it. But it'll be online, and if there are, whatever's going to be on it or not. And so we can keep asking her to put us on, and not just her.
We need to be
Arnold
on the agenda to get removed, so ideally, we would get on the agenda.
Well, we don't need to be on the agenda to be removed. That was only the first time it was raised at public comment. And now that that's done, that technicality can't be, it's a valid technicality, I'm not saying it's not, but that's not a valid, they can't do that anymore. They can act on it now. And if we get the IJ is covering it, if the IJ says we're going to be there on the 20th, that's public notice, Okay, well,
I've seen some lawn signs around, and I'm concerned that there are still people who don't know about this. Strawberry's a very sleepy place.
I'm sure you're right.
Where do the lawn signs go?
That was from the Save the Strawberry Community Initiative too, which we'll probably fold into it.
Right, and so what's happened is, like I said, that was a very small grassroots movement. Stacy and I are following up. Most of those people are on vacation. They didn't ask us to do this. We did this because we felt that there was growing community support and a lack of information. But if we can utilize that website, and I think if you sign up and put your information, on that website, they will be in touch with you. You'll be able to figure out, I'm sure they're the ones who are creating those signs. You'll be able to have those signs. And the other thing is, talk to your neighbors. My little neighbors here tonight, but everybody, talk to your neighbors. Leanne.
If Kate Sears does agree to a meeting at Strawberry Recreation, it'll be in the gymnasium. Cancel that with 2 microphones. Well, you tell us what we need, we'll get it.
Well, thank you everybody for coming.